Welcome. Charlotte Otremba Show. My name is Charlotte and this is my show. Thank you so much for tuning in. So today we have not one, but two very special guests, Abby and Ella Vorenberg.
Hello.
Woo!
Yay, hello.
So by way of introduction, these are two very funny gals, but they are also teachers. And I thought, wow, this is a topic we need to cover because it was just a very serious pandemic that's almost over, fingers crossed, and
we're really getting close to the end, I think.
Yeah, we're close to the end, and I feel like, wow, who has stories about the pandemic? Teachers do.
We have a couple.
Yeah, so one, I would just like to say we are currently at your home.
Yes.
Your parents' home.
It is.
I should say.
Yeah.
Where most people are during quarantine.
Right, fair.
I did spend, 8 months here with good old mom and dad. I cried every Wednesday for like 6 weeks.
Wow, we love a scheduled
Wednesday?
cry.
I don't know.
that's true.
I was like, I was in piano. I was in piano class every Wednesday. And it would just, I don't know, it just brought up a lot for me.
I just want to clarify, did you cry every Wednesday when you were quarantining here or as a child here?
Oh, no, yeah. Just in quarantine as a full-blown adult.
Forever.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, no,
always been this way.
those fits
Always
and
Wednesday.
tantrums were Wednesdays.
Born on a Wednesday.
Really,
and it just
every
stepped it up.
Wednesday from like March through May, I cried.
Right.
On the floor.
Oh, on the floor.
A few times my parents would just sort of like walk past me while I was sobbing on the floor as a 28-year-old woman. And I was like, I didn't expect this for myself, that I would be at this
Just
point.
don't think you're alone.
No, I know.
I think you
I
have
don't.
a very wide net of support.
Yeah, this is a relatable content moment
Totally.
for all of us. So yeah,
Abs.
that's where we are. That's where we are in this day.
I love this. And then Abby, you've been staying up here. You two are cousins.
That's right. Our fathers are brothers. I come up here, sort of sporadically whenever I get an opportunity to. It's, like obviously a beautiful, we're very lucky.
Get some nature.
Very lucky
Yeah,
to
we
be
are in
there.
Connecticut, but it's not like suburban Connecticut. This feels like countryside. This feels like
It's not
Rolling New
Fairfield
England.
County.
Right.
No,
which
yeah, you're
is
up in the
we're
hills,
lucky
hill
about.
country up here. Yeah, that's what we call it.
Oh, we do.
The Litchfield Hills.
The hills country, as you might have heard about.
I will say I've
no.
seen a slight incline, but certainly not a
You know,
hill.
the
We went on
Connecticut
one walk, it was a
Hills.
slight sort of.
Famed. Okay, Connecticut is on the Appalachian Trail. Should I get
I mean,
that
this is not my dog's problem.
No, well-
Here's the other thing.
Talk to me about the dogs. Let's get into it. I feel like you
We
guys
are teaching
have
during
some.
a pandemic, but really what we're here for is to talk to you about our dogs.
But
Lottie, leave it.
Abby, I don't know in what world you think this is not your dog.
Oh!
Here's what's happening. Lottie has a snowman.
Lottie is Abby's dog.
Yeah, Lottie is my perfect angel. And Lottie is just playing.
I know how to get her. Because
So maybe you
away.
should get the toy.
I now understand that this
Yeah.
is really a me problem.
Lottie.
But
Wait, can you?
That was crazy. And there's mosquitoes everywhere.
Ella has 100% been saying from the beginning we should put them upstairs.
No, it was Abby said that.
Okay. Oh, Abby said that?
Fucked up. And I will scream it in this hill country for days.
These Litchfield Hills.
Wait, what are we doing?
Oh, we're back!
And we're back.
Oh my god, was this on?
Oh my god.
So crazy.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't you guys just explain what just happened?
Okay, so we had to take a quick pause because my parents have a dog and Abby has a dog, and my dog is really poorly behaved and really
my
poorly
dog.
trained.
You can't even imagine. Unless you know this dog is perfect. She was made by the gods.
She's kind of a
She's
martyr.
put on this earth.
I know.
Dropped down.
Are you have something more pointed to say?
Yeah, because this dog has she's a perfect dog, but she's really just has bad luck.
She has terrible luck.
And it's she's so good, but the world's out to get her, you know.
She was attacked by this crazy dog in a park once, and the groomer just cut her eye accidentally, and so she just has had a couple injuries, and it's made her humble. You know, she takes it one day at a time.
She needs those to knock her down because
Jonesy-
she's so,
Right.
she's up here.
That's a good
Jonesy
point.
could
Right.
use a cut to the eye by a groomer, I think.
Okay, that's violent. Those are threats.
Who? Those are threats.
Yeah, I know threats.
Suddenly, a groomer has been paid off.
He's pulling in a
If that
hit
happens,
on the
I don't have anything to do with it. I'm just saying it would do her some good.
Right.
She's- yeah,
no,
it's
well, so
Jonesy's
it's
good.
Some, they're trying to figure it out. The two of them, they're
You know,
still
I'm
learning
not
their
sure-
patterns of behavior.
I'm not sure that. I don't know. There's just everybody loves dogs, but we don't need to talk about them anymore.
Why? I mean, it's great.
Everybody.
Oh.
loves
What?
true.
Okay, all right.
Wow,
all right.
you want to leave?
You go fucking hang out with the dog?
It's mosquitoes, so it's a little distracting. But that
Nature.
I feel really like
Connecticut Hills.
aligned personally with my dog, and so when we talk about her being, you want to take a hit out, you want to cut an eye out of her body. I'm like, it's me.
Wow, this is like way deeper than I. Wow.
It's really not where I thought this was going.
Okay, I think. Whoa.
Oh man.
Well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, and I'm really glad to know that now, and we can move forward, and I will not talk about your dog being injured.
Literally.
Anyway, because I didn't realize that she was an actual part of your
Yeah. She's like my like demon, like from like in or like my familiar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Lottie is
familiar.
angel.
Like a witch. Like witches have their familiars, like they have their little creatures that like go with
Oh, I didn't even know this term, and I
Charlotte.
I fancied myself a witch interest. You know what I mean? Like, give me a podcast about the frickin' Salem witch trials,
I
me
know.
up.
and we've talked about this.
We have.
And wait, you
I just love
have
witches.
some family lineage.
No, you're conflating me with like some guy we met at a wedding one time who does have family.
Oh my god! And I
history.
attacked him, and I was like,
I know.
What?
And this is how I knew that Charlotte was going to be my friend. Because I was like, anybody who
True
gets
story.
this excited about the Salem witch trials in public is my kind
man.
of pal. Yeah. But
So familiars are.
I'm so surprised that you don't know what this is.
Wow.
Do you know this only because of Blackbird Witch Pond?
No.
the book?
They don't even. Well.
Do they
There's
mention
like a little bit. I'm teaching the book, The Witch of Blackbird Pond, also takes place in Connecticut, not too far from here.
the hills?
The hills, in the hills, Litchfield Hills.
They refer to it, the setting is hill country. And
Connecticut
at the
hill
beginning
country.
of the book, it's imagine hill
Okay,
country.
so
No, they do not.
no,
They do not,
that is not true.
Obviously.
Guys, I want to be
scene.
clear. There is a pond, like right over there. It is low country here.
It's wet.
It's wet.
It's
Wet
wet.
and slow. This is swamp.
All right.
Hill
It's on
country's
New
not wet.
England.
I'd like to set the scene.
Okay.
It's 1687,
Okay.
colonial Connecticut.
I really am feeling it. I'm right there. Are you there?
Oh, give me that Puritan energy.
Oh, okay, right. And so there we find ourselves with a witch. There's a witch character.
A witch.
Spoiler alert, she's not a witch. I mean, they never are. It's so disappointing. But
Spoiler.
I know. She's not a rich.
But the point is, she has a cat, and like
That's
a
her little-
familiar is a witch's little like animal. I don't know. I think that it's supposed to be like the embodiment of the devil or something. And like,
Who's like feeding them?
yeah, I have
like
no
the
idea.
opposite of a Patronus.
Yeah, I think so. It's like I don't know I don't understand the like theology behind a familiar, but it's just
I mean, they literally made it up as they went.
you think.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
that does
literally,
make
like the letters they would write from, at least with Salem, the letters they would write to each other and then like to somebody back in Europe.
Right.
They would basically like come up with terms together so that they could, because he was that guy in Europe that basically was like he made a name for himself by hunting down the witches.
I
you know who I'm
I
talking
know
about
who
during the
you're talking about, but I
Inquisition?
don't
Don't know who
name.
you're talking about.
It's
Okay.
like Edward something. You know,
Some guy that basically this was
Yeah,
like his
you guys
career
know.
opportunity, and he capitalized on it.
Yeah. Well, I can't believe for a person who knows this level of detail about witches and witch trials that you hadn't heard the term familiar before, but you know, we learn
well-
something new every day.
But
That's
I
the
also
beauty of
do
being a
not
teacher. You
consider
know, you get to
myself a
just share your knowledge.
Teachers. Okay, so while we're talking about teachers, why don't you both describe your teaching roles? Where you teach, what you teach,
Okay. Thanks.
how long you've been teaching that grade, why that grade.
Okay. So I teach. I teach at an all-girls school in Manhattan. I teach 5th grade. It's one of those sort of. It's sort of like a imagine Gossip Girl,
which was written about my high school.
Or imagine where
The
Charlotte
author-
went to high school, but it's not where Charlotte went to high school.
Yeah, it's a similar.
Okay.
Well, actually, like
Let's play
the
20
high
questions
school,
for where I work.
the high school that you went to was known as like the more intense, less fun version.
Right.
of
I didn't
ours.
go there. I wouldn't have been accepted, but I
yours
do
sounds
work
lit.
there now.
Oh, mine was lit. Oh, smoking outside at lunch. Yeah,
I know. I mean, yeah.
in
Those
uniforms.
girls, you can
is
see them
hot
coming a
girl
mile
shit.
away, and it is hot girl stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the hot girl stuff. It's like, wow, how wasted can you get this weekend and then pretend like you don't care, but then still get an A on your like chemistry exam?
God, I
It's
mean, I would
insane.
love to
Actually,
be
that is the
person.
energy that is, that's
That's the energy you want in life.
Yeah. So I teach 5th grade at this school that's not like that. It's for just beautiful nerds. And I teach history and I teach English and feelings. You know, we talk about like friends and feelings a lot.
Oh,
which
my
is fun.
heart.
Yeah. And I've been teaching there for 2 years, but I've been teaching for 7. And which means that also like last year was my first year at the school and we were only in person for like a couple months because of the pandemic. So
Oh, that's
yeah,
nuts.
it's kind of a crazy thing.
It's a wild thing, to learn the school culture
Yeah.
from your computer, from your home on Zoom. I teach at an independent school in Manhattan as well. I teach kindergarten. Why kindergarten? I think that you mentioned.
Yeah, let's
that you're
do
interested
whys.
in
I would
why.
love to know.
Oh.
I have just a really strong interest in sort of like the budding academic sort of rhythm that kids get into in kindergarten. I love teaching reading. And I just feel like kindergarten is the age where they're excited about learning. And I think that that's true for many grades. And there are kids that are excited for many years about learning. But kindergarten just feels like a really joyful age, and so that is why I teach that. Great.
Can I also just say that today, because we all worked from home together today, which was kind of
Yeah.
nice.
It was a fun
and I
time.
did.
It was so
I
fun.
did sort of like tune in for a second to hear Abby's class singing a song together, and like just to hear a little kindergarten boy just like belting it out over Zoom was really a beautiful moment.
I know, and that is what is so special is, I don't know, we just have this like little microcosm of joy, and it feels like, they will be rid of that soon. No
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, I'm not jaded and think that this is the way that this is going to be forever. But it's like a reminder of the sort of how pure and innocent and excited humanity can really be. And
Ugh.
it's
My heart.
Yeah.
a special age.
I do feel like kindergarten is a big year. Like, it is sort of the year where you graduate from, like, you need help tying your shoes and, like, getting dressed to, like, starting to read
You're
and then,
exactly
like,
right. You're
getting
exactly
ready
right.
to go, like,
Yeah.
with your own backpack that you remember. Like,
There's the more there's so much more independence, exactly, and like arming them, for lack of a better word, with the tools to do that is, like you were saying, the social emotional part of our jobs, I think, is what we're really drawn to, both of us. And
Yeah.
that's-
yeah.
the relational nature of being a teacher, I think, is what we're drawn to. But why are you a 5th grade teacher?
Yeah.
Oh,
fifth grade.
5th grade's great because 5th grade's sort of like the way I like talk about it in job interviews or parent teacher conferences is like that it's the liminal space between adolescence and childhood. So you sort of catch them right before they like really fall off the hormone cliff and you just lose them forever. And yeah, like you're like, see ya when you're 20.
Yeah.
but-
yeah.
It's
And you come
perfect.
back down. To
I
earth.
know. Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be a rough road starting tomorrow. But for today, we can all, and like, it's also, I work at an all girls school, which is really fun because it does just sort of have this like, there's just like a silliness and a lightness to 5th grade. Like,
Yeah.
I once had a coworker describe this age, like 5th and 6th graders, as sort of puppyish, like their bodies haven't caught up with their brains and their like feet and arms are too big for the rest of them and they're just like flopping around and,
Yeah.
they smell weird but not too bad and, like,
Yeah.
it's just they're perfect. It's like the perfect age, plus they're so capable. Like 5th graders are able to do so much academically, so you can kind of push that envelope of really like asking them deep questions and getting them to think about the world around them, and they're observant, but they don't
But they're not
don't
jaded
get
yet.
into all that drama as
Yeah.
much as the rest of middle school. So
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
And did you both always know that you wanted to teach those grades? Like, did you decide, like, did you wake up one day and you were like, like, how did you, like, decide, like, because you both went to grad school and...
Yeah, before going to grad school, I was lucky enough to sort of try out a bunch of different ages. And kindergarten was sort of like my last, as an associate teacher, it was my last year as an associate teacher. And so I realized, I was like, this is where I want to be for the next, however many years. But that was the age that really stuck with me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you? Why fifth grade?
I started teaching with younger kids, like more first grade, kindergarten, and I loved it. And I sort of thought that was going to be like where I would stay. And then when I went to grad school, because I'd already been with that age, they sort of wanted to challenge me and like they put me in a sixth grade classroom. And that's where I sort of got a feel for all of this stuff. And I think there's a weird perspective sometimes with teachers. Like I know we've talked about this before, that like other grades seem kind of scary. Like the idea of teaching high school sounds like, oh my God, I couldn't, because like what if they're this way or whatever, or like
what if they're smarter than us?
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, that's
my main.
That is, I struggle with that with my fifth graders now, so it's not so bad.
Smarter than the fifth grader. That's why.
I know. I would definitely not pass that show.
I watched that show and I don't do
I
well.
lose that show.
But those are like just such like specific things. Like if you studied those topics, like of course
Right,
you know.
Although one time I did have to interview a kid, and they had been on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, and they were insufferable. So
okay, great.
yeah.
So we know who those kids are.
They pull in. Yeah, sorry.
Wow, we hate this kid.
Yeah, this kid is. I don't actually know them. I don't know what happened to them, but
They're probably
knew
doing
that
fine.
They'll never have friends.
The thing is, they knew that they were smarter than me, and so it's
yeah.
hate to see it.
It's gonna be lonely.
Yeah,
But anyway, other than that kid, most fifth graders are really fun, and sixth grade. Like I love that sort of like early middle school age, and I've found that out. But I also think I just love people and I love children. Like I could work with a lot of different ages, and I think I'd enjoy it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we went to a summer camp together and worked there as adults, and we're both in the middle age group, which is fifth and sixth graders. And there is like an innocence and an eagerness to just like learn and to please. Like they want to do well. There's still that
Before they get to the F you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And so there's just like that's also such a draw, I think, to that age group.
I do feel like you guys both have two really good grades. I feel like in my memory, I loved kindergarten and I loved fifth grade.
No, that's great.
Because I do remember.
kindergarten. Do you
I
remember?
loved
I loved
What do you
kindergarten.
remember about it?
I think my kindergarten teacher named her daughter after me.
Stop!
That is a
What?
Miss Maroney named her daughter Abby the year that she was teaching me. She went on maternity leave, like in May, and then had her baby in June and named her daughter Abby.
Oh my God.
Wait, this is like a lot of. I feel like there's some things. That's a little weird, don't you
she's
think?
watching this.
No, I'm
Tell
like.
me, Miss Maroney.
I
Is it
know.
about me.
I mean, it could also be like
Her great grandmother's name.
Right,
You know,
right,
there's
right.
a million
More likely.
all I can think is like as a kindergartner, you must have felt like 10,000 feet tall. Like she comes in with her
gassed me
baby
right up.
She's like, "This is Abby," and
Gassed
Abby's
me right
like,
up.
"Did you hear this?
like, check it out.
Been chosen."
Yeah.
Also had a son though after the daughter named Abby, who she named a name that I'm not going to name because the person in my grade who had that name was a bit of a rough, not someone you want to spend a lot of time with. And so I was like, maybe it really doesn't have anything to do with me. So it really
Sad.
just,
But at the end of the day, everything has to do with us all the time.
Right.
I mean,
Obviously.
that is just a given.
Right.
As you all know.
Right.
That's why you're
That's where
here.
we're operating. Exactly.
That is the point of this.
We forced Charlotte to do this.
I named my show my name.
Actually, we're editing it, so it's going to be the Charlotte and Abby show.
Right.
Starting
The
now.
Trem Vorenberg show.
Oh, wow. That's some solid Eastern European.
Yeah.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yes.
Really
Stuck
gets
the
us
landing.
going.
All right.
Ah, yes. I just love when we were like getting ready, like all the makeup matched all of us. Like I was like, yeah, I have some makeup. And you guys were like, I don't know. Sure enough, no, the fairest color fits us all. Weird.
I mean, look at us.
Ah.
Can you even can you believe it?
Yeah.
Look at him.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah, we have so much in common. The world
Yeah.
revolves around us.
We
We're
are
all sort of like
so is
swarthy
Vorenberg
white women.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, hairy
I know,
ladies.
totally.
yeah.
Which is like misleading.
can't
Well,
tell.
I mean, I can't speak for you guys, but I feel like people are like, your hair's blonde, or like, you have light hair like on your arms, and I'm like, I do, but it grows in jet black on my face. No one can tell me why. I'm like, where did this come from? I'm like, Mom, where did you get this? She's like, that's not from my side of the family. Like, cool, Mom.
She's like to the bottom of this.
She's like, you need to get that under control. And I'm like, cool, just a double salt. Like, you're like, oh, wound is here?
Not my fault, and
Oh.
you need to fix it.
It's like when I had really bad acne, and she'd be like, I'd be like, well, Mom, like, did you have, like, bad skin? Like, what would you do? She's like, I never really had it, so.
I never really had
That's,
skin.
I
that's
don't
what
know.
you love about
Yeah.
moms.
That's what I love about moms. And I'd be like, oh, yeah, well, like, when I got braces, she's like, I never had braces. I had perfect teeth my whole life. And I'm like,
Amazing.
You know
Mom,
who
I'm
we
really
need-
just wearing these glasses. Oh,
I would
bummer.
like
have
to know-
20/20 vision, so I don't know.
Where is your dad in these conversations? Is he just like, I abstain. I will not.
no, he'll be
participating."
like, yeah, I think I had some bad skin.
Oh no.
And then that's it. Just like, oh, we got a piece.
And it's
And
just-
then we'll talk about Hemingway. Oh, and an hour later, we're still talking about him.
We need more data.
Cool.
Yeah, he's got to weigh in.
I just was wondering if we could circle back to the hair conversation.
Right.
Like let's just.
Hemingway, really hairy guy.
Right.
Also a hairy guy.
Do you know where he got his hair from?
Yeah.
And is that.
Well, my
Is
dad, I
Hemingway
mean,
your
likely, right. I mean, could be. My dad is the Polish-Austrian side, though. So, like, likely the hair came from that side. Do you know what I
God,
mean?
like,
okay, so
like
it makes
high
sense why your mom
alpine?
is like, not my problem.
Yeah, not my problem. And yeah, I don't. High alpine. What is that?
I don't
mean?
know. Maybe they just had to be furrier to like keep warm. in the
Makes sense.
mountains.
Yeah, that's. I agree with you.
We
That's
figured
what
it
I've
out.
gone with. I'm like, look, my skin capable, full protection, dark hair's right where you get cold. You know, you're like jaw.
When you're
Right,
skiing.
What you always feel,
Yeah.
you're like this right here, cold,
Brain freeze.
protected. Ah, good.
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 I don't know where our body hairs. It's from our fathers. Our dads
Yeah.
both look like they're wearing sweaters all the time.
Wow,
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Which was recently a joke on a TV show. And I was like, oh shit, like, excuse me. I thought that was like our funny thing that like we said about our family. You know what I mean? It's like a sad moment when
I
you realize
hate
that
when
everybody
that
makes the
happens.
same jokes.
Oh, yeah, because we always made that joke too.
Oh, so it's just like a joke that existed.
Yeah, you'd like see somebody at the
right.
pool and you'd be like, ah, my
your sweater
sweater.
off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, that's in Ted Lasso. That's
where it
Is it on Ted Lasso
yes,
too?
yes.
About Roy.
Another reason
Maybe
to
that's
love
our recommendation
that
today.
show. Okay. This is like a little bit darker,
Oh,
but it's okay.
Hell yeah.
what is your familiar?
So, what? It's those two dogs, not kidding. Like, okay, so pandemic in the US kind of hit, you know, like for me, the day where it was like, okay, everything shut down was like March 18th or something, 17th. And for you guys, I feel like it probably felt temporary at first.
yeah.
At what point were you like, oh, like we are so like we are screwed.
You're-
Yeah.
This is actually fun because it was together that kind of happened, I think.
Okay, tell us.
Absolutely, yeah.
So for us, it was earlier than that because school closed on March 9th, I think, for
Yeah.
both of our schools.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think you closed on the night of your birthday.
Yeah,
March
my-
8th, which was a Sunday.
And I was like,
Oh,
snow
that's
day on my
right.
birthday. Like, I don't have to go to school tomorrow. This is great.
we were at dinner
Yeah.
with her parents. And
Yeah.
we were like, oh, okay, interesting. Maybe one member of the community has COVID. They have to shut. It was very nebulous
yeah.
and strange.
Right.
There weren't policies. Like, now everything is so sort of like established and like clear.
Right.
There's like policies
Right.
and decisions that have been made. And like,
And like the semantics are so specific now.
yeah.
And at the time, the emails that we got, and I mean, to credit the administration is like, I don't know how you handle that. I don't know how you even write an email like this. But Ella closed that whole week, and then we were moving into spring break.
Yeah.
And I went to school on Monday, and we got an email at 2:45 and was like, we are closed. Today, after your kids leave, pack up and sort of just.
Oh, that early. It was like, get
March
out.
9th was the day that we closed officially.
yeah.
And March 8th is the day that you
And
closed.
I mean, that my students, like, if you ask them about it, when I asked them at the end of the year last year, like, what's your memory, your strongest memory from or just from your school year in 5th grade, they all said that like on the day before that weekend that we closed, there was like this moment where we were like, we have to send them home with computers. They all need to go home with like a device from school because we need to make sure that everybody has a computer.
Yeah.
And then, but like even that wasn't really that organized. And so like they got their computers, but they didn't get chargers. So then like people from the tech team, the laptop cart that had all the chargers in the laptop cart was padlocked and they didn't have the code.
Stop.
And so then somebody comes with bolt cutters to like free the chargers. And the girls are like, I'm late for the bus. And like the guy's like, I'm coming, like running down the hall, like cramping on the
So stressful.
lock. It was out of control stressful. I think I gave my charger, that was like my personal charger, to a kid. And then, I mean, it was just bedlam.
Because
and
they were
then-
going to miss the bus. You're right.
Yeah.
I remember hearing about yeah.
it was
Oh
it
my
was crazy.
gosh.
And then my mom, who's also a teacher, a lot of our family are teachers. My mom was like, this is permanent. Like, we're going to be in this, you know, for the rest of the school year and into the fall. And we both were like, no way, you're crazy. Like, we'll be back in school by latest April. Like,
Right. I felt that way until like March 22nd. And then
Specific day, the
and I-
22nd.
and the reason why is specific, and this is why I have this memory, is, you know, I was like, okay, maybe after this spring break, because we were on, you know, we took that week off, and then we had 2 weeks of spring break, and they were like, we'll just assess what happens over spring break and see if we can come back in April. Obviously, that's not what happened. And on March 22nd, I was like, had a conversation with myself, and I was like, okay, a pandemic that is not only hitting the U.S., I mean, obviously it started in China, and it has, you know, Italy is
global.
insane.
Oh, yeah, Italy was so
Italy was like the...
Remember Italy?
And I was just like, remember Italy?
Remember?
Okay, you know what? This is my moment. I'm getting a dog. I know we are going to be shut down for the rest of the year. I know that we are going to. And so then I got Lottie on the 23rd.
Oh.
And I just remember it because I was like, I'm a little bit anxious that we're going to go back and I'm going to have to figure out some sort of like how I'm going to manage having a puppy while I'm working 9 hours a day or, 10 hours a day at school. And then I was like, but I really actually just feel like we're not going back. And so that's why I ended up doing it. And here
Thank
we
goodness.
were.
And here they are, too.
Yeah,
the pups.
coming
The pups,
in.
yeah.
The pups.
The pups.
I know.
That's nuts.
But there was also, I mean, there were definitely like these really funny emails where we kept, it was, I don't even know what it would be akin to or like what we could compare it to, where it would be like the administration sends an email saying, okay, another month of remote learning is going to happen. And we'll be remote until mid-May. Okay, we're going to be remote for the whole year. It was like in 2-week increments at first. And
it was like, oh my God, do I need to go back to New York? And you were probably here and you were like, do I need to go back to my apartment?
no, because New York felt, I mean,
Yeah.
I've always been so interested in that experience because I was one of the people who was privileged enough to get out of the city.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of memes of people being like, New York is so fun now that all those people have left.
Everybody left now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly, by mid-April, so we probably stayed at the height of the pandemic until like end of April. Because then it was basically like Easter weekend or whatever. And we were like, oh, we'll go down and visit Lon's parents for the weekend.
Yeah.
Literally Easter weekend, and packed literally that bag that I brought just to stay here for a couple days.
Oh my God.
That's all the clothes I had. And
That's
I had
exactly
my
all
God.
Yeah.
I packed to come.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I came here first.
Yeah.
With tiny little bags.
tiny little bag, and then I was like, okay, this is not like none of the right clothes. Then weather was changing, but like New York, because actually Lon and I were talking about this recently because we were on a run the other day, and we were
They
like,
run.
remember, we run
They're
together.
the
It's-
only acceptable couple that runs together. I'm just
it's
letting
so
you know.
dorky, I know.
If you run with your
If you want a
person,
sense of what-
don't do it unless you're Charlotte or Lon.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Or if you've been listening and curious about like what Charlotte and Lon's relationship is like from their friends' perspective, it's like they're the kind of couple that you love that they run together.
Exactly.
we're like
so
anybody
fun.
else, you would like hate them.
Yeah,
Right.
which
It's
I
like,
appreciate.
Oh my God, that's like you guys must have such a good time on your runs. It's so good.
Right. I love pictures.
It's like a casual run. It's not like an intense run, I will say.
Maybe that's part of it.
Maybe that's part of it. Okay, anyway, so we were reminiscing on our trot, like that, like, remember this time last year, and literally this time last year when we would go for a walk in the city, it felt like the apocalypse. It felt like when you would
Yeah.
watch a movie about, like, what was it, like Day After Tomorrow, whatever,
Yeah.
like, you know, movies like that where it's
I
like
Am Legend.
Yeah, I Am Legend. Yeah, it literally felt like that because like everything was boarded up.
Oh.
Like it would either be closed or have literal boards up.
Right.
And then there's like nothing around, no cars. Like that was like the creepiest thing too. Like I remember we would like even go for drives in the city. And we drove from our apartment in the West Village to the Upper East Side and it took like 10 minutes. And it was
That's
insane.
when you know.
I didn't even know it was possible.
Yeah, it was crazy.
If I had to,
Because the
if you
like
had asked
lights
me,
were barely working, like nobody was around. It was crazy.
I would have said that was a 20-minute drive. Like in my mind, that's how long it would take if without traffic, because I've just never done it in less than 30.
I guess maybe 15 if you
But
think like going across the
still,
park. It was like 10 to 15 minutes.
That's
It was
so
like
normal.
crazy
It's such a
short.
reasonable time.
Yeah.
Amount of time to be in a car.
Imagine if that.
Imagine.
Was what the
Okay, yeah,
was.
but like not worth it. You know?
Yeah. Okay, anyway. So let's talk about Zoom school.
Yeah.
You guys have had to become like masters of it. I would love to hear about teaching kindergarten over Zoom and teaching 5th grade over Zoom. Like, maybe best way, because I'm sure there's like so many things you could talk about.
No,
is,
I
like,
have a story that I'm ready to tell, so I think you should.
Okay, great. Yeah.
I am unprepared.
No, okay. Well, really, I just think it's important. The first thing that is very important that I name is that every child that I am sitting with has support from their grown up in getting their materials printed.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are grown ups sitting next to them, helping them navigate Zoom.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I just want to recognize that that experience is not emblematic of the entire Zoom school kindergarten experience.
Yeah.
And there's like, you know, extreme discrepancies, which are, you know, problematic and
Complicated.
complicated. But I will say, you know, at the beginning it was mostly just like, how do we keep them engaged? How do we
Yeah.
keep them excited about school? And so it was lots of games, and I feel like I was just screaming into the computer, like, love learning, please.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Smile, we're having fun. Exactly.
Oh my god, I
And, you know,
can't
so
even
much of
imagine.
kindergarten is just like, how can we incorporate literacy, math, science, all of the sort of like fundamental academic pieces into games. And so for me, I just really feel fortunate for the families that I have been working with, who support their kids through that. And it's also like, you know, I've had to exercise new muscles that I never thought I would ever have to use. You know what I mean? It's
Like
just
what?
learning a whole new system of basically, like, you know, incorporating movement into every single lesson. It's not fair to
Interesting.
have a kid sit there
Yeah.
for 30 minutes while I'm teaching a reading lesson. So it's like, you know,
good
if you
point.
think
I
the
should
word
think
is
about
the
that.
behind this little hidden curtain, if you think it's the, I want you to jump, do jumping jacks. And if you think the word is and, or tap your head while spinning around and jump on one foot. You know, and it's just like how, and they're into it, they're loving it, but it's, you know, how can you make them feel like, you know, brought into the fold and like they're part of a community when they're in their own home and, you know, outside of their home community.
That's so great.
She's doing a really good job. I don't know if I'm being that intentional with any of my choices, but
I know
do-
it's a different age for sure, because I do feel like in kindergarten, I can imagine in kindergarten trying to navigate like logging on to Zoom.
They don't
Well,
even know
that's
how to
why,
read.
that's
Yeah.
really what I'm talking about, and sort of like,
Yeah.
not, you know, like all of the sort of minutia of being a Zoom school learner.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just entirely mitigated by the fact that a
parents.
caregiver is
Yeah.
there with them.
Or a caregiver.
Logging them on.
So are most of them at your school, is it a parent helping them or like a nanny or babysitter?
I mean, it's a mix, and it
It's a
changes
mix.
every day. Exactly.
Yeah.
We have, I will say, our families, I don't know of a single parent that's not a working parent.
Yeah,
I think we
interesting.
have two working parent families.
Yeah.
In our class. And
No,
so-
I ask because like
Yeah.
the rate of, you know, all the studies are saying that just like women have been leaving the workforce in this past year due to the pandemic at higher rates than men, right? Or like downshifting and like taking even like a demotion or like stepping back temporarily. And, you know, it's like a reality of Zoom school. Like you need, if you have somebody that age versus 5th grade that could like log on.
I know. I mean, 5th graders is like, it's like, that's also part of that cusp, right?
Yeah,
Where
it's like a cusp.
Yeah, to leave a 10-year-old home all day is possible, but it's maybe not super advisable. And there's
Yeah.
different. I mean, it's funny because I was like, I have such a funny story to tell, but actually, like, there's definitely interesting, complicated parts of this too, in terms of like mental and emotional health for kids. And like, one of the things I've been realizing is I don't know what my kids are like as friends. Like, such a big part
Yeah,
of
that's such a big
our
part of that
work.
age,
and
yeah.
definitely, I mean, all ages is
All
like
ages,
figuring
yeah.
out social stuff, and like there's none of it. Everything is managed by me because we both have taught in person for most of this year, and then
Yeah.
had like a week here and there that we'll do remotely. But when we're in person, they can't be less than 6 feet apart. Obviously, they have to be wearing masks.
Still,
Yeah. And because it's like a school policy.
Yeah,
you know,
and I guess they wouldn't be vaccinated yet.
no. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of, because we have as a school the ability to enforce it as a rule. It's not like,
Yeah.
we encourage you on the subway to stay 6 feet apart. It's
Right.
like you will get in trouble if you get
Right.
within 6 feet. And I mean, I've gotten in trouble as a teacher because it's so difficult to
Enforce.
not, or also just for myself. Like, I will want to go and help a kid
Yeah.
with their homework or whatever, and I want to go and
Yeah.
not full-blown direct talking tos, but we'll get like an email that says like, as a reminder, teachers also need to stay 6 feet away from their students.
like,
Like,
wait,
that's
what?
me.
What?
Yeah.
When, like when they're sad, all you want
my
to do
God.
is just be like, what do you need from me?
Yeah.
And just
It's really tough.
Yeah.
But can I tell my funny story?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
All right, here we go. So one of the things that's interesting about our schools, like remote, we're sort of hybrid. So we have some kids who are fully remote, some kids, most of the class is in person for their whole day, and all the time. But some teachers are fully remote, and their faces, like an eye in the sky, get beamed into the classroom on a screen. And because, like, if you think about, what your face looks like on Zoom or on Google Meet or whatever,
Super hot.
it's your face. It's like just your face.
Oh,
sorry.
wait.
Hot?
Sorry. Hot? Wait, also, I just want to ask, like, why are some...
It would be teachers who maybe had like health concerns or
Yeah.
family members with health concerns.
Yeah.
And they got like special dispensation from the school.
Got it.
To stay home full time.
And to
Which
be beamed
was not an option at my school. If that was your circumstance, then you needed to take a leave of absence.
yeah.
in. Interesting.
Right.
Continue.
So
Continue.
yeah, you just like imagine learning art from like the face of a woman who's in Pennsylvania, and she's like, "Can you hold your painting up to the camera?" I mean, it is absurd. And then like the kids have to, so like the kids are holding their Chromebooks like to take pictures of their watercolors. It's out of control. And there was one day where I volunteered here in Connecticut, where my parents live and where I vote, to work at the polls during the presidential election. And that Monday between the election day, I was here in Connecticut. So I too was a face
Beamed in.
beamed in. And like we did whatever we did. The class was fine. It was nothing special, but we sort of got through it.
Yeah.
And it's a rare thing. Like I really empathize with my colleagues that have to do this all the time because it was not fun.
Yeah.
But so I teach my lesson. It's time for them to get ready for lunch. I'm like, all right, girls, like, you get organized. Your homework's going to be this. And then I'm watching the screen and like the kids at school start to kind of act weird. They're like moving and some of them are like going to the window. And then one kid goes, Miss Bornberg, it smells like smoke in here. And I was like, what? Okay, well, just don't worry. Like, maybe one of the teachers down the hall, and then everyone's like,
One of the teachers down the hall is smoking. That's the sound.
someone will help you. Someone will come because I am in another state. I'm
Right.
unavailable. And then they're like, there's smoke coming out of the radiators into the classroom. The radiator's on fire. It's black smoke, and like they're all screaming this. Meanwhile, there are also like 3 other kids who are at home too. So like
They're like beamed in like
the girls are just looking at me. I'm looking at them. I'm like
take it a
we have
minute.
a
This
triangle
is-
shirtwaist situation. Like
the move?
the girls are jumping out
move.
of their chairs, panicking. It's a nightmare. And as we're in this moment, one of the kids just runs up and just turns off
No.
the meeting.
No.
So they're like, "We're on fire! We're on fire!"
Boop.
Silence.
No.
Just silence. And I like grab my phone and call my boss, and I'm like at my middle school head, and I was like, please help. I think my kids are on fire. Is somebody gonna die? Like the one day I'm not in the building, there's like a true
I
emergency.
love that the kid was like,
I know what needs to happen. You need to leave.
just, we've got this.
cover all our bases.
Yeah, we're locking down, Miss Warrenberg. You're out the door.
No teacher.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I don't
make
want to get in trouble for
mortified
this.
style.
Yeah.
So it turned out it was just a car fire on the FDR. But
Wait.
yeah.
Also, what?
But they're like, the radiator is
That's
on
such
fire.
that's such a kid thing to be like,
100%.
oh, I need this emergency. Like, I need
The smoke is coming in the
Exactly.
building.
I am the only person impacted by this experience, and I will not survive
Yeah.
unless you get here right now.
Right, I know. It's like really just turn it up to 11 by powering down.
So what? Like, did the middle
what
school
is
head
that?
go in there and be like,
He texted me. He's like, it's a fire on the FDR. It's fine.
the kids
You were like, wait, I'll
created?
restart the Zoom room. Let me
Cool.
Let's talk about how to react in an emergency situation because it's not this.
So the American Revolution.
Yeah. Can y'all pipe down? Fire or not, we need to talk about
I was just about to get into
Thanksgiving. I know, right? Pilgrims.
Pilgrims. Okay, so speaking of pilgrims. Thank you so much for joining today. It really means a lot. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in and see you next week. Bye.